roundness. So round implies a center and a circumference. So the danchen is the center. So the danchen is like a gravitational center that's just drawing in, holding on to me, so that I can relax outwards. I can swell into my roundness. So let's just establish the center. So just the breathing exercise. So here the danchen is pulling, and then here I'm expanding into my circumference. So drawing into a center and reaching out. And just get into the reverse breathing. So here I'm breathing in to my center, to my belly. And then here I'm breathing out and expanding outwards away from the center. Bring it to riding horse, bring it to stillness. So just feel the danchen. So that's the center that's holding you together. So what we want is for the expansion phase, the breathing out phase, to be an expansion of the heart. So we have these two centers, the belly and the heart. The belly is drawing in and holding me together, and the heart is expanding and reaching out into the world. And so without the strong belly, you'd quickly run out of energy within your expansion. So we need both of them. So let's try it again. And now just as you draw in, just concentrate on the belly point. And as you breathe out, just let your heart really expand. So breathing in, pulling into the belly, and then switch to the heart and just really let it blossom, open out and expand into the world. And then drawing in the belly. And then just settling into riding horse again. So let's just feel the curves, the circles. So the most important one is the one in the legs. So this arch of the legs. So bandy legs, the sense that your knees are pressing outwards, which is opening these points here and causing you to sink and settle down into the outside edges of the feet. So it's a circle, it's not just an arch, it's coming down. It's as though the feet are meeting underneath the ground. So this across the sacrum has to really relax. Otherwise, the holding on here will tend to want to pull your knees in. And just feel the dantian. The dantian is like the very top of the circle of the legs. So 3 points on this vertical line that are important for each circle. So one is the top of the circle, and then the bottom of the circle. So me just having a sense of that place under the ground where the two legs would meet, and then the middle of the circle. So we just want to just pay attention to those places. So for me to allow my sacrum to relax so that this circle of my legs can just expand outwards, I need to have a sense of the center. So where is the center of this circle? It's round about the knees, yeah? So just feel that's like a point of, like an anchor that enables it all to expand out. And then just bring your mind to this one here, the circle of the arms. So again, these are coming in to join. So now the heart is the back of this circle. And then where the hands would touch is the front of the circle. And then you have this place here, the middle of the circle. So in a way, the best way to get into roundness, into circles, of which Tai Chi is everything really, is just by turning. As soon as we turn, we create a center and we create a circumference. So just feeling as though you're turning around your dantian. So remember, when the dantian is strong, it will be drawing backwards towards your back, towards your spine. So you've got the centripetal aspect of the dantian, and you've got the centrifugal aspect of the heart. So my heart is expanding into my arms. So imagine if I was to turn really quickly, my arms would fly up. My dantian is with my legs, my root, my feet, my connection with the ground. And my heart is with my arms and with this reach into the world in order to make connections with other living things. So my dantian is shrinking all the time, but also getting denser. And my heart is expanding all the time and getting lighter. And then back to riding horse. And just feel the danchen and the lower back, the min-meng area. So we want that lordosis, the curvature in the lower back, to completely disappear so that my spine can just merge into my legs as a continuous sweep. And now turning this way, what we want here is this sense that I'm cutting down and underneath as I sink into the back foot. So down and under. So I'm not sinking onto the leg, I'm getting underneath the foot. So you have to just really feel the outside edge and really guard against the knee collapsing in. The knee is always out here, which means you probably won't be able to turn that much. What I want is for this foot to come up because I've got underneath it. So I'm sinking down here, and that brings the foot up. So the foot rises as a consequence of my sinking, not because I've hauled it up. So I sink here, and the foot comes up. Just get a little bit of speed. So each time you sink, you're extending into the ground. You're getting underneath the ground. So it's work. Bring it back. So in order for the mind to think, so in order for it to produce words, to produce trains of thought, there has to be a break here. So we have to split the lower body from the upper body. Because otherwise the ground is so strong, it would just be drawing all of that out of you. It would be sucking you into your dantian. So this is our feedback, really. If there are words in evidence, or if you're losing your concentration, then you've made a break here. And now let's just feel the gentle curve of the spine, like the back of a satellite dish. The bottom of the spine just blending seamlessly into the legs, which have the opposite curvature. So this curve is like this in the legs, and this curve is like this in the spine. So we just want to feel it continuous from the heel smoothly up to the top of the head with no break here. And now let's just move from leg to leg. So here, full and empty. So we want to feel full and empty, the real separation. So this leg is filling, and this leg is able to just let go and flush out and become empty. And then this leg starts filling, and then this one can just So we tend to privilege the filling because it's easier to feel in a way. And so what it means is that the empty side never really empties fully. So here I just want to just let go here, like I'm jettisoning the leg. I'll just let go and the leg just falls away. So for that, I need to be strong here. So I want to feel the full and empty like waves. There's a wave of fullness that's moving in this direction, that's stopping me from falling down. And there's a wave of emptiness that's moving in this direction, that's moving against the body. So what we want to try and just appreciate is in a sense, the primacy of empty. It's only because this leg has emptied that it can then fill up again and accept me. So this is just walking, really. So when you walk, you put your weight into one leg and then you reach forwards with the empty leg, and then slowly your weight goes into that empty leg. So it's the same thing here. My fullness is sinking in this direction, but the emptiness is calling it. So my leg empties and it calls to my fullness, and it slowly moves across. So the empty is always before the full. So my quietness and my stillness is with my fullness. And my activity, my energy, my spirit, that's with the empty side. And now let's try the same thing, but just with 1 foot forwards. Yeah, so we just want to get away from mindlessness, from stupidity. Yeah, so remember we used to do this pumping away. So now just feeling the empty leg. So in order to draw myself into this foot, I have to empty it. I have to actively let go so that the leg can then start pulling at me. And then here, so it's easier to let go of the front leg because you can get all of the weight into the back leg. But here, I just have to let go here. And just feel the separation between full and empty coming all the way to the Dan Chen. It doesn't just stop here. So as I go into the back leg, it's filling up to here and it's emptying from here. So when the leg empties, then it has a bit of freedom. So it can sort of do something, it can express itself. And we feel that in the knee generally, that the knee wants to go out. And then let's try a little bit with the other foot forwards. So allowing the emptying leg to call you forwards. So before the empty leg can pull me, I have to empty it. So I really have to separate into the full and empty. And then there's like a little spark comes into the empty side. Suddenly it's free and it can do something. And that activity in the empty side, that's spirit and heart. So it's just something wanting to sort of explode or expand. And then just back to riding horse again. Feel this play. So we have to learn how to separate full and empty. But then when you're actually doing your Tai Chi, it's always a combination, it's a play. And now let's just try the two circles, the two yielding circles. So feel the hole here, the inguinal fold. It's like a hole opens up here, and it's that calls the yield out of me. And then just figure of eighting. So this hand here now, instead of starting its circle at that point, it goes in here and helps this hand. Both hands are together with each loop. So both of my hands are with this loop, and then both of my hands are with this loop. So the feeling is that this hand has actually come through here and something has come out of the back, and this hand is taken by that. So there's a sense that the inside hand has started the loop and the outside hand is just taken by it. The inside hand is also sinking through the leg and into the ground. So this is trying to get into the ground, and this is coming up. So this is reaching forwards into the other person's space, and the other one is rooting you. So your mind is with the energy. Your mind is not with you. So something is coming out, and my mind is just so engrossed, so consumed by the wonders of energy that there's no space for it to sort of retreat into itself and think. So when the mind thinks, it's basically a cowardly retreat from the openness that's required to fully engage the world. When the mind stops thinking, then it all just becomes the one thing. It's like, where's the energy coming from? Is it from the mind? Is it from the heart? Or is it just being called out of you by something else? For me, it's very much like those Christian virtues of faith, love, and hope. Getting to the point where you're not sure which is which, it's just all this sort of soup of energy from which anything can come out, including danger. It's like in that W.B. Yeats film, he just got famous actors to read the poems, and it was just amazing how many of them were moved to tears, how many of them teared up at the beauty of the poem. And it's very much like that. It's like the energy is just so expansive and wonderful and marvelous that you're on the edge of tears all the time. So here I want this to come out because it's openings, not because I'm creating a pathway. I'm not, my mind isn't there before it. It's like the energy's leading, and that really wrenches the heart open. So for this to sort of expand and something to come out here to create this, there's a similar rooting that happens from the sacrum, from the sacroiliac and the sacrum. So the heart just expands. And then just back to riding horse. So imagine those bodybuilders, and it's like Dorian Yates, he had a 60-inch chest and a 28-inch waist. So there's like a real tightness here, a real togetherness with these legs that flare out and this torso that flares upwards. So it doesn't have to be physically like that, but there's a sense of that. There's a sense of strength and tightness here that enables you to expand downwards into the base of your pyramid and expand upwards into the top of your... So we're like two pyramids that are just sitting on two triangles sitting on top of each other. So there's one here, which just reaches, so this is connecting to the heavens, and there's one here, which is connecting to the earth. So it's the Magan David, really. The six-pointed star, which is just two equilateral triangles that are just superimposed on each other. So what we're trying to do is just separate them out, allow the sky to draw this triangle up and allow the earth to draw this triangle down. And then this point in the middle where they touch, it's really tender, precarious, difficult. And let's just try a little bit of the heart qigong just to get this top triangle. So here, allowing my upper back to sort of flatten out so that my thymus can lift upwards. And that's allowing my sacrum to drop and my lower back to flatten out as well. So this exercise is really important, but you really have to feel it. One of those things that if you just do it mindlessly, it's going to do more harm than good. And then just riding horse again. Just imagine you had like two cones and you were trying to balance the point of one on top of the point of the other, just how impossibly difficult it would be. You'd have to get the balance exactly right. That's the feeling of correct posture, like you're just, you're really poised in a place that is just fraught with danger. So the only way you can sort of keep that balance is to really open up to the earth and the heavens. So if the earth is sucking the bottom cone down and the sky is sucking the top circle, the top cone up, then you've got a chance of just holding that balance. So you have to open up to the heavens and to the earth. And if you open up to those, then you'll open up to everything, really. So this is the Chinese thing. Heaven and earth is just a term for nature. So immediate. So the word immediate, it just means without mediation. So there's nothing in the way. There's nothing in the way between you and the real. So you haven't interposed language or thoughts or opinions. You're just raw and just bleeding in and out all the time. That's, in a sense, what time is for a living creature. So a living creature bleeds. It bleeds its presence, its becoming into the world. That means that it hooks into time in the right way. So John always used to say, you know, everyone looks young nowadays. And he says, and the reason is because people, they're not really living, they're going through life partly undigested. They're not letting life, time, being, becoming digest them. There is just lack of spirit, really. It's just a lack of aliveness. You know, so the more we shrink from death, the less alive we also are. Okay, now let's just try this other exercise that's really important, just lifting the leg. So 1, 2, 3, just trying to get the knee just a little bit higher than the hip. 1, 2, 3. Use the rising leg, just scrape it up the other leg. So there's on the 1, you're sort of on the calf. On the 2, you've reached the knee. And on the 3, you're above the knee, which requires something to happen in the lower back. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So we want the lifting of the knee to force you to really sit into the supporting leg. So here, the knee coming up draws me down into the leg. And I lose my lower back. I lose the curve in my lower back. My spine and my leg just become one thing. So it's the knee lifting. So we can just lift it. So 1, 2, and then 3. bring its riding horse. And now let's just try the form. So the head's suspended. You can feel it as this point at the back just being pulled up, like there's a meat hook that's been pulled underneath your back of your skull. And that will stretch and lengthen the neck, which will allow the lower back to stretch and lengthen down. So this feeling that there's a sag in the knees. And just trying to get it being generated by the motor of the figure of 8, rather than it simply being a series of set moves that you've memorized. Looping around this foot, and then I loop around this foot, and then I loop around this foot, but keep the weight here so that these toes can come in. Really relaxing across the sacrum. And then this hand is coming into this point here. And then this hand is coming into this point here. And then this hand is coming into this point here, which liberates this hand for the ward off. And then this is coming into this point here, which allows this hand to bring these toes round. So it never gets any more complicated than that, really. And then I go into ward off right. So this hand is coming into here, which liberates this hand and allows it to sweep out, catch the other person's right arm. And then this, as though it's going to come into this point here, and then this hand can sweep up into ward off. And then as though this hand is coming in here, which liberates this hand to come in. So just in your mind's eye, at least, just seeing the continuity of the figure of 8. So this hand here is going to come into this point, which will liberate this hand and enable it to come out. And then this hand is going to come into this point, which enables the ward off to come in and then goes in here, and then this slots out. Just try and make it as rich and complicated as possible, just to make sure you're paying attention to the detail. Okay, so let's just try from single whip. So single whip is called the open posture because it's really pulled open across the chest. So that's because the hook is being left behind. And because I'm coming into the front foot. So the next posture is called the closed posture. So we're going from a really open posture to something that's instantly starting to close as you turn into this. So as soon as I start turning, there's a sense that my arms are going to come in and embrace, and the chest is going to hollow. So from this expanded open chest, I hollow the chest, and my arms just come in. So a sense that this hand is coming into this point here, and that releases this hand. And then I just turn and yield. So now this hand is coming into this point here. And then this hand can be liberated. And then I step forwards, and here there's a sense that this hand is coming in here. And then that liberates the shoulder, which can crush forwards. And then this just loops around the back foot again and comes up. So you're attacking with the shoulder from the back leg, which is making a turn this way. And then this hand is coming up to follow through, which means you're turning this way. Feel the open chest, and now just hollow that. And then just, they both come up, but then the left hand goes down, but the right hand continues. Hollowing the chest, rounding out the back. You see, there's a lot happening there. So this is this attention to detail. There's like something happening every tiny moment. And it's that gives it the shimmer, that gives it this look of being alive rather than just going through the motions. So that liberates this hand, which can come up. Now this hand is coming into here, which liberates the shoulder. This has the feeling that it's coming into here, which liberates this hand to come up. And so if you were to use it, it would be, whoa, there'd just be like a shake, which would just be quite explosive, and it just really relaxed. So the more detail you can cram in, the more spirit and the more energy it will actually have when you do it quickly. And now just reaching forwards a little bit with this right hand, and then yielding, big yield. So white crane spreads wings first, so yield. Yeah, so there's a sense that this hand, it takes the leg, or the leg leads the hand. And then play guitar. So let's go from single whip. So hollow chest, rounded shoulders. And then just attention. So as you do the form, the energy of the form is drawing you along this sort of path. And it's very similar to the feeling of being drawn up here. So the call which draws the movement out of you is a call to the heart. It's not a call to the head. So there's something in your heart that's just aching to follow and serve. So the earth is drawing my down chair. I'm being pulled down to the ground, which I don't want to resist. And the sky is drawing my heart upwards. And I am just the balance in the middle. I'm Piggy in the middle. And I'm just suspended by those two forces. So what keeps me upright is not my legs fighting the ground. It's my heart opening up to the heavens, opening up to this sense of something that's beyond. So before, beneath, beyond.